YouTube, Mario Run 24 here once again. Today I'm gonna do a video about a story that happened in TF2 literally yesterday. Anyway, before I get started, I just want to say I am using some new software. I'm attempting to use editing software instead of just trying to commentate while playing. And the things I'm using is Audacity and Lightworks. So anyway, let's get into the story. Basically what happened was I was playing TF2 on a trade server. You know, nobody ever trades like usual. But then some guy was like, "Oh, I'm Spycrabing for an unusual." So I know that I don't have anything in my inventory. So like I have nothing worth that much as an unusual. But I have a spy crab addiction. So I'm like, I want a spy crab, but I don't. So out of nowhere though, I get a trade from him, and he's like, "I'll do it for your Brotherhood of Arms," and it's just a plain one. So, like literally, the Brotherhood of Arms is like 8 ref on the market right now, and the unusual hat is like 54 keys or something like that. It's something really high because it's like the one that you can wear with all classes. It's the crown looking one. I don't even know, but anyway, so I do the trade because I'm like, why not? So we do first to 3 loses, and of course with my spy crab addiction, I suck at it. Okay, luck is not on my side, so when I do it, I of course fail miserably, and it literally goes, I think it went 1 to 3 the first match, so that's what happened, and then I give it to him. Then jokingly, because he keeps talking about it, I'm like, I'll do it again, and then he decides, he's like, this thing is worth 54 keys, but, I'll do it for your triple chin. Now, I probably should have been like, is this a scam? I think it might be a scam, but, I was stupid, and I was like, even if this is a scam or it isn't a scam, nobody ever asks to trade with any of my engineer cosmetics, because I love the engineer. He's my favorite class. But anyway, eventually I'm just like, I'll do it. Why not? If I actually manage to win. So what happens is, this is the part that screws up the whole thing. So I say in the chat, first to 3 wins, and then with a question mark, and the thing is, I by mistake meant to say loses, so to hurry up I wrote no loses, without like anything else, no grammar or whatever, and then right after he writes yes. So I'm okay with that. I'm like, okay, I think he understands first to 3 loses. I just screwed up saying. So I do it, and then I do 2 to 0. It's 2 to 0, so I do 2 spy crab things, and he has none yet. Then out of nowhere, he gets 2 of them. Then eventually, he gets a 3rd one. Now this is where it gets me really pissed off. He's like, "Okay, I win." I'm like, "Dude, you just got 3. You lost." And he's like, "No, I win." And then he spams in the chat, "First to 3 wins?" question mark over and over. I'm like, "Dude, can you calm down? Let me get the proof." And then I get it, and then he's like, "Okay." And then of course what happens is, since I'm using my shitty laptop, it decides to lag on me. Like, it literally just keeps repeating like 2 frames or something like that. I don't even know, but basically it's frozen. So this guy's probably having like a bitch fit in the chat, and I can't even see it. And then of course it disconnects me. Now, if you know anything about spy crabbing, if you lose and you disconnect, people will hate you because they think you're a scammer. But anyway, so I try to join back, and then he friend requests me, and here's the hilarious part in my opinion. So I get the friend request, and I was like, oh, thank God, because I was getting one of my friends in the server to find his gamer tag. So I type in, I'm like, oh, hello, I was trying to explain a story, and then right after, he's like, hello, Kyle, is that your real name? And I'm like, oh, he's doing this trick on me. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I call this the all-knowing trick. Basically they try to shock you into like siding with them and doing whatever they want by saying like information about you. Now, if he would have said like my IP or something like that, then I would be nervous. But he was just saying things like, he's like, oh, is this your Nintendo Network ID? And I'm like, oh, you knew it. But basically he like lists off all these things, like he's like, oh, you have a dog. Oh, this is your name. Oh, you're under 18. Oh, you live in Ohio. And he says like all these vague things, like, he's just looking this up. Like, because the thing is, people don't realize this, but they can look at social media too. So, for instance, my gamer tag is coolman6446. So he's like, he probably just looks up coolman6446 and sees if there's anything else. So one thing that might have appeared was my Twitch. If he got to my Twitch, he would understand what my Nintendo Network ID is. He would know I have a YouTube, so he clicks on the YouTube and looks up some information about me. And I knew this was a thing because a while ago I had a Twitch viewer on my stream, and he would like look up all this information. I was like scared for the first time because I didn't know about how I completely forgot about social media and all that. So he like says all this stuff trying to spook me out, and then I eventually find out, I'm like, oh, you're just looking at my Facebook and stuff. And he's like, yeah. So I found out about this trick eventually. So now I was already knowing about this guy. I'm not gonna say his Steam, by the way, this whole time. He does this, and I just ignore it. And then the best part is he's like, oh, now I got all this vague information. I'm gonna use it for something that you're not gonna like. And I'm like, oh. And then this is the best part. I type in, why don't we just talk this out like mature people? Literally, the second after I type this, he has gone offline. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. You're such a mature person. So like I said before, I'm not gonna tell him like about his Steam name, but when I went on it to see information about him, just to see if there's anything that I should be worried about, literally his bio is the most cringeworthy thing I've ever seen. It says stuff about him having 15 fedoras. I'm like, oh shit. Then also he said like, my favorite fruit is bananas because I like shoving it up your ass. And I'm like, wow, this kid's so mature. Then he has like a thing about deleting System 32. He says that he's a furry, and then some other stuff, and it's just so stupid. And then his profile pic is like a picture of him, and it's like this young kid. I'm like, oh, okay, I should really be worried about you. Okay, so that's the end of the story. Like, this happened yesterday, like I said before, so nothing has come up yet. I haven't been swatted or anything like that. But yeah, it's a pretty dumb thing that happened in my honest opinion. So that's the end of the story. Before you go, I just want to say, if anybody is actually watching this, tell me what you think about the editing. I know there's probably going to be like cuts and audios that are going to sound terrible, but just tell me in the comments what you think, yada yada yada, and that's it. No, be sure to subscribe, no, like if you like the video, ho ho ho. I don't really like when people do that shit. Anyway, that's the end of the video, and hope you have a good day.